New information coming out, and it's kind of all over the place, that Bill Gates has this new idea that apparently has been in works for a while. It's a tattoo embedded into your skin that is nanotechnology. It will replace smartphones, he says, as soon as 2030. Would you get this tattoo? And more importantly, as we think through it with a biblical lens, is it demonic? Discussing that right now. So this is fascinating. Is Bill Gates' new electronic tattoo demonic? Surprise, surprise. Bill Gates is in the news again with something controversial. This came from an email.
Yeah, and surprise, surprise, people want to talk more about end times and Mark of the Beast and things that could be.
I mean, literally, two episodes ago was Mark of the Beast. So if anyone's coming and they're just now jumping into this, this is going to be a really good conversation, I hope at least.
Yeah.
And you might want to just pause right now and go watch the Mark of the Beast episode we did 2 weeks ago, and then come back to this one. But that's probably a pretty good prep. I think we're gonna get into a little bit of the Mark of the Beast today again.
Yeah.
But we'll kind of build off what we talked about last time.
Yeah, I was going to say that at least it would kind of start where that one finished as far as the conclusion from that one.
Yeah.
To have a conversation here about this. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll get to that. And so this came from an email. If you want to email anything you want, any topic, could be anything, could be end of times, or it could be I'm having trouble with my girlfriend. We're going to look at this through a biblical worldview. The podcast email is podcast@grangersmith.com. Podcast@grangersmith.com. That's where we're getting the one today. What's this guy's name? Seth?
This is Seth, yeah.
Seth brings up a fascinating topic. What you got?
He said, hey, Granger, a buddy of mine sent me this article about Bill Gates saying smartphones could be replaced by something called electronic tattoos. I'll be honest, it kind of blew my mind. The idea is that instead of carrying an actual phone, you'd have this tattoo on your skin that can track your health, let you pay for things, and even connect to the internet. On the other hand, it sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. It does. On the other hand, I couldn't help but wonder if it ties to what Revelation talks about with the Mark of the Beast. I don't want to jump to conclusions, but it's hard not to think about those verses when you hear about tech that goes, under your skin and controls so much of your daily life. What do you think? Thanks for always tackling these kind of questions with a level head and faith-filled perspective. Seth from South Carolina.
South Carolina, Seth. This is not the first time I've heard this, actually. I got a text. When is this date? On August the 25th.
Yeah.
I got a text from my brother Tyler, who sent this article to me and my other brother Parker. It's an MSN article.
Yeah.
And it's the headline is Bill Gates declares the end of the smartphone era and unveils its surprising replacement. So there's, this picture of Bill Gates in his tuxedo and his microphone. This article kind of walks through what an electronic tattoo is, which you and I had to kind of figure out a little bit more. And it talks about the decline of the smartphones. I think you had in your notes, Ant, that, what did it say? That 15 years we're looking at the end of smartphones?
Yeah, about that.
So I also saw another article that said as early as 2030.
Wow.
We would be
5 years, less than 5 years.
Completely, 4 and some change years away from no more smartphones as being the thing.
I could see someone adopting this idea in 4 years or less. Think about how quickly ChatGPT picked up. I don't see everyone, or even a majority going away from a smartphone in less than 4 years. Because
I agree.
That's a quick adoption of something, of new tech. And listen, I adopt new tech quickly. I like trial and error. I like figuring things out. And, even with equipment that we use here in this room to do this podcast, I was a quick adopter. Rode, who does the recording machine that we have here, they came out with new stuff for the newest one, which is now a few years old. But I thought, well, if it really can do that and that machine, that's worth the money, because it was the old one plus a few other pieces of equipment.
Hmm.
So if the new one can do that all in one, I want to try that out. And it's proven to be really good.
I think most people probably do that.
Yeah.
It's fewer people will hang on to an iPhone 7, for a very long time.
Yeah.
And there is there's kind of it's charming to think of holding on to an iPhone 10, or whatever, or a flip phone. There's a lot of charm in that. It's like, that's nice. But the reality is, with technology, you get pushed out of it. So you can't keep a normal life and have a normal job when you have old tech, because it gets, the updates will disconnect you further and further from all the other tech that you have.
That's right. They'll push you into the newer stuff.
They'll push
simply
you
by
into
not
it.
supporting it anymore. Yeah.
Even if it's just because you can't charge it anymore because the charger doesn't work.
That's true.
You don't have that adapter.
And the batteries have a life as well.
The batteries have a life. So even if you kept up with the hardware of it and replaced batteries, eventually those cables just start to disappear. You can't even find those old micro USB cables anymore or whatever. So this is going to be an interesting discussion, because what we're going to look at is Bill Gates is presenting this new opportunity, this new technology. I have my opinions on Bill Gates. I think you do too. I think most people listening probably do as well. I don't know if I trust him for anything. But Elon Musk had the quote of saying, like, he's not babysitting my kids. Yeah. He's something like that,
Exactly.
So we're gonna be thinking about, wisely thinking through, and we'll use the Bible with this. This is a radical new idea of technology. But what happens if this goes so far down the line that everyone is, I don't want to use the word forced to use it, but because of the lack of other options and because of connectivity with other things that we do, you just naturally adopt this.
And convenience.
Convenience, just like we have with cell phones.
Yeah.
Just like we have with getting away from cash and going to credit cards. And now credit cards are going to go away because more people are using their phones to make purchases. Just like paper boarding passes were soon replaced by digital boarding passes, which are now being replaced by biometric scanning and to get on an airplane. So there's going to be a time when you can't get on an airplane with a paper boarding pass. They're going to say, sorry, it has to be either digital or it has to be biometric.
Yeah.
And so for the people that say, I don't adopt that stuff, I say, that's so charming. That's so respectable. That's so honorable. You can't fly anymore. Your travel days are over. And so this is where it connects with the mark of the beast, because then people go, you mean you can't buy or sell without having it? I say, yeah, maybe. John, as he's writing Revelation 2,000 years ago, and he was writing these things about the mark of the beast, how no one without the mark can buy or sell. He had that didn't make any sense to him. At what point in the late first century, early second century, would it ever make sense that anyone would have to have something to buy or sell that was implanted on them or marked on them or tattooed on them or implanted in their skin? Like, that wouldn't want to make any sense at all.
And it wasn't that long ago that even that mark was, what if it's a barcode?
Yeah. When people start saying barcode, yeah.
What if it's a barcode? You just put a barcode on somebody's hand or forehead. Now it's like, what if it's the actually tech of what we currently use implanted into your body?
Now we're at a place for the first time ever in human history where we go, oh, yeah. Like even a QR code, the tech of a QR code is so far advanced past a barcode. It's unbelievable how much more detailed a QR code. Have you ever looked at that stat?
I haven't, but I believe it.
Just a little square QR code is so much more
I use them all the time
than a barcode. And so what comes after the QR code? I mean, we're headed fast down. And this podcast is not going to be about a huge warning and we need to, be wiped out by some kind of, nuclear tech destroyer,
No.
We might. And I wouldn't so mind that, but
that'd be a malfunction in somebody's electronic tattoo. Set something off.
Oh, that's a different angle for this.
Yeah.
Okay, so first, before we go any further, give me everything you know about this electronic tattoo.
Man, I don't know a ton because it's still right now. It's still a concept. There is a company. It was developed initially by a company called Chaotic Moon, later acquired by Accenture, which you may have heard of. These
Not me.
tattoos, huh?
No, I haven't.
No, yeah, okay, I've heard of Accenture before. These tattoos are use nanocapacitor smart ink. What that basically means is ink that has metal or chips in it that will fuse together and be able to work inside that tattoo, inside that ink that's been planted.
As Kirk Cameron said a few weeks ago, what could go wrong?
What could go wrong? Not much, right? It'll allow tasks like sending. Now, this is just like surface level stuff. It'll help with like sending messages. So right now, instead of picking up your phone to do it, you may just speak it, and it's connecting. You speaking connects to. There'll be some gesture. You even have that with Apple Watches right now. That if you're listening, say you're out jogging and you're listening to music, you can just double tap your fingers, just your index finger and your thumb, and it'll skip to the next track. So think about those kind of gestures that go, okay, I tap my fingers together. Oh, now it wants a message, and then you just speak your message, and it reads it back to you and sends it. So that could be a thing, and that's one of the benefits of having CarPlay. Is that you don't have to type anything. You can just tell it. It'll read it to you and say, is that correct? And then you send it if you'd like.
Right.
You could browse the web. And I think for some of this, you are going to need some ancillary items, such as earbuds or glasses or things like that. But it would be, instead of connecting to a phone that you have in your pocket, it's just to that piece of artwork that you have on your forearm.
So you would I guess we don't know this answer, but we don't know what it looks like.
Right.
It's just some kind of, it looks like ink.
Looks like ink.
And
it is ink.
Maybe you could
just
choose your design. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe you could. Yeah.
But you
get these 5 that you get to pick from.
Yeah.
You're terrible.
But it connects to, so the way it would replace smartphones completely, it has to have some kind of reading. You have to be able to see it or hear it. And so you're saying earbuds or glasses.
Connecting to other things, yeah. So if you think about your smartphone with all the guts and no screen. Everything that's inside of it without a screen. That would be what the tattoo would be.
Okay.
Yeah. So right now we have Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. Maybe it's that or something else, some new technology that is much more efficient, doesn't use a lot of battery. Think about a battery on a phone. Well, even in this too would be able to charge based off your body heat. So your excess body heat, instead of making you stinky, charges your phone. I don't know.
That has a name.
Does it? Did I miss that part?
It is, yeah, because that's just a, I don't know, it's a horrifying idea. Energy harvesting from your body, thermoelectric generators converting your body heat into electricity.
Okay.
Like we laughed before we started the show, just thinking, I'm exhausted today. Why? You haven't left the couch. I know. I've my nanocapacitor's been taking thermoelectric energy from my heat.
Drained.
I'm just so tired.
You know what is fun? So I've been wearing, and people laugh at me right now, as I've been wearing.
Yeah, what are you doing here?
I have a smartwatch. Okay. I have the Apple Watch, but you don't have an Apple Watch, do you?
No.
You have something. Yeah.
No, mine's Garmin.
The battery on this is absolutely atrocious.
Yeah.
It lasts about 8 to 12 hours, somewhere that. This is a Whoop band.
Yeah.
And it measures everything and more that the Apple Watch does, but it lasts 2 weeks. But, no screen. There's no screen on it. So that's a lot of that.
And side note, my Garmin, and I have like the highest level because I need it for international travel.
Okay.
Lasts almost a month.
Does it really?
Yeah. It's got a screen and
That's
everything.
incredible.
Yeah.
That's good to know. I use both of these because there's data that I need right now in my health journey from the Whoop that I don't get from my watch, or I don't get continually from my watch.
Gotcha.
My watch only measures your heart rate. This is all the time checking. It constantly measures my heart rate, and it will give me a reading, so I know what I've done throughout the day and how my body has responded to stress and things like that. After other podcasts, after a major health scare in my life. So I'm kind of detailing everything. There's talking about, though, the way this would work would have all that stuff built in because it's already in your body.
Yeah.
So that one would be a benefit of not having an ancillary product, not having a Whoop band or something else to be able to measure that stuff. It's built into the fabric and the ink that has now become part of your body.
So Tyler, my brother, who's always really into thinking about his calories and his health, this would most likely be measuring your blood in real time, where you could actually know what I'm hungry right now. What am I hungry for?
Mm.
And it would tell you, well, you need about 17 grams of protein, 20 grams of carbs, and 12 grams of fat, and you'll be feeling nice. And make sure you add a little sodium to that. I'm just assuming that this tech would be easy to detect in real time at some level what you're actually hungry for. Or
Wow.
it could say, you're actually not hungry, you're actually thirsty. You need to drink more water. That's not too far-fetched.
And that is not a bad thing.
No, that's not bad.
That's, you think about this stuff, not the holistically, it's not scary, or at least it's not scary to me. It's like I said, I'm an early adopter to a lot of things. And I know a lot of people listening or watching right now are too. I think the anticipation of what it could lead to is what is scary. I remember on the radio show on After Midnight, we talked about when Elon was putting in the brain chips, the nanochips. So they're like, would you do this? And people that would call in and say yes or no. And it would, I don't know that I'd actually do something to my brain, but taking a tattoo or having a tattoo that would give me all the benefits of and more of a smartphone, at least in thought, is interesting to me.
So far you are adopting this idea.
The idea I am.
Okay.
Actually going through with it, I would have to do a lot of research, and I wouldn't be the guinea pig, I'll say that.
So a lot of these tech guys like Bill Gates and I think there have been several that have come out and said, just wait, smartphones are going away.
Mm-hmm.
They always know where we're headed anyway. They knew the smartphone was coming, and they know it's ending. Bill Gates, famous video of him talking to David Letterman about the internet. I think we've talked about that before, where this is like 1998.
Okay.
And Letterman's like, for those that don't know, Letterman's the old late night host.
When late night was a thing.
Yeah, when late night was a thing. And he's like, so what about this internet thing? When's it going to give, And Gates is like, oh, it's actually really fascinating. And it looks like it actually has legs and it's going to take off. And Letterman's like, I heard the other day that you could check stats on ball games. And Gates was like, yeah, you could get any stat from any ball game you want. And Letterman's like, have you ever heard of the Wall Street Journal? And everyone laughed like, oh, that's hilarious. And Gates goes, yeah, but it goes more than just stats. He goes, we're going to get to the point where every game you could actually listen to while it's happening on the internet. Letterman gives him the smirk and goes, you ever heard of radio? and it was just, this conversation goes back and forth,
mm-hmm.
and it was just an indication of the times that we just had no idea how silly it would be to be arguing for radio or the Wall Street Journal when you have the internet. And I think we're headed this same direction. And guess who's back around? Bill Gates again. They've all been saying smartphones are going away. And there's a positive thing by thinking smartphones are going to go away. We are all staring at screens. You go to an airport these days or a park and everyone's looking down. And we all recognize that this is short-lived. This is a time of human history. We're all looking at a screen. It's going to change. What's it going to change to? Is it going to be even worse than the screen itself? That's what I want to continue to explore on this podcast. So what else do we have? What about the technology, benefits, concerns?
There are concerns. A lot of concerns on privacy.
Of course.
Who owns that data? Is that you? And even ChatGPT has come out saying they do have things that scan your chats with ChatGPT, because if it finds something concerning, it's going to send it to a human. The human's going to look at it and see if there is a real concern. And if they need to call the cops, they will.
Like trying to build a bomb thing, things.
This is not a private conversation with you and ChatGPT ever. It's not this conversation, although we are recording to be put out to the public, isn't private right now either. We both have smartphones in our pockets. They're listening all the time.
Mine's technically not.
Oh, is it not?
No, I've been taking it out of the room
Okay.
and my watch off.
So it's just all my equipment. Got it. My
But
computer and my phone.
No, I've only been doing that because it's annoying to me when I'm
Yeah.
trying to do a podcast and my watch is
Going
buzzing.
off.
You know?
Yeah, I get that.
That's the only thing.
Ethics is a big thing. What happens when technology is you're fusing, you're in essence, and we've talked about this, becoming a cyborg. You're part computer and you are part human. Really, they're fusing together.
More than ever before if this happens.
Absolutely. 100%. Accessibility, when will this widen the digital divide? And, security, listen, phones get hacked all the time. What if your implanted phone gets hacked? That's an even bigger deal because now it's a part of you.
Now I know in real time your heart rate, how many hours you slept last night, your blood sugar level right now. I know all kinds of crazy data.
I think you'll be able to tell even what physical activity you're doing based on biometrics.
Yeah.
Even the band that I wear can tell whether the stress I have is induced by external activity or if it's something emotional or something like, hey, I know you've been sitting still this whole time. It doesn't say this to me, but in essence, you've been sitting still this whole time, but your heart rate has gone up and your stress level has gone up, but you're not doing something stressful. You need to relax.
Podcast brought to you guys by Shopify. Starting your own business could be pretty intimidating. You think you have an idea and you're pretty creative, and then you got to do all the logistic things in your website and check people out and sell and ship. It's kind of a logistical nightmare if you're not super organized and if that's not the way your brain functions, which mine doesn't. And that could seem super overwhelming, but thankfully, finding the right tool that not only helps you out but simplifies everything can be such a game changer. And for millions of businesses, that tool is Shopify. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S., from household names like Yee Apparel. You can get started with your own design studio with hundreds of ready-to-use templates. Shopify helps you build a beautiful online store to match your brand's style. Accelerate your content creation. Shopify is packed with helpful AI tools that write product descriptions, page headlines, and even enhance your product photography. You can get the word out like you have your own huge marketing team behind you. Easily create these emails and social media campaigns wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. And best yet, Shopify is your commerce expert with world-class expertise in everything from managing inventory to international shipping to processing returns and beyond. So if you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. Turn your big business idea into with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period and start selling today at shopify.com/Granger. Go to shopify.com/Granger. Shopify.com/Granger. If you're trying to get a gift for someone that you think has everything, how about a special video message from me? It's easy to do. Go to cameo.com/GrangerSmith and you put in the prompt what you want me to say. I get that message on my phone. I'll say happy birthday, happy anniversary, whatever personalized message you want me to say to whoever you want me to say it to. I send it to you and you give it to them. It's pretty cool. Go to cameo.com/GrangerSmith. And so remember that I'm the guy that drives the 2004 pickup.
Yes.
Still have a cassette
player. That's right.
And I will tell you, I don't miss. I know that CarPlay is awesome. It's really cool to have CarPlay in your car. I don't have that. I haven't had that in several years. And I also haven't missed it.
Yeah.
So I think I would call myself an early adopter on certain things as well. I'm interested in the new Apple, whatever. I'm interested in translation. I've told you this before. I'm interested in real-time translation devices for mission work. But there are certain things, if I've cut them out of my life, I don't miss them anymore. I like driving the old truck.
That's great.
So I've been researching these glasses as well. Like the glasses technology is getting bigger and bigger. And eventually more and more people will be wearing smart glasses. They will be listening to music on them. They will be taking videos, which is a little strange to me. Taking pictures.
Like meta glasses?
Yeah, like meta glasses, There are glasses now with that shoot a tiny camera onto the lens so that you could read things. People could give speeches. You could,
The teleprompter.
yeah, you could connect your phone to the glasses on an app and have an entire speech. Go out there and do a TED Talk or a sermon, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And you're reading
Got it right
out the
there.
back of the lens of your glasses. That's strange, but as in a world that's trying to get away from cell phone distraction, are we fixing that problem
Right.
by putting on glasses? Like, you might be looking at me, but I happen to know you're reading off the back of the lens.
Yeah.
That's something we're going
That
to...
you can't see.
I can't see it. Which, by the way, I've seen some videos. You can on certain angles. Like if I look at you just a certain way, I could see a little shimmer of green.
Oh, okay.
And I know you're reading.
Interesting. They'll get rid of that soon.
Oh, that'll go away. They'll figure out how to get rid of that. So we're at a little bit of a disadvantage right now because as we record this podcast, Apple has yet to make their big.
But when you're watching it, they will. And
Yeah.
wasn't there talk of them doing something with ChatGPT that's a non-phone?
Yeah, Apple's been all over. There's been so many rumors about Apple has something that's going to replace the phone. And then there was another thing you and I talked about that Apple is announcing soon that they will be adding a critical device to your that pairs with your phone and your tablet and your whatever else.
Which they could have now already talked about. On the release. Yeah.
Oh man, so before. Okay, so I think that's kind of enough on the device itself.
Yeah.
We know that it's going to be implanted into your skin. It's going to take biometric readings off you. It's going to power off of your body, or we read that it could power from RF or Wi-Fi, or it could have tiny batteries, like thin, tiny batteries that just last a very, very long time.
Our phones lay on a charger, or mine does.
Yeah.
I put it on the MagSafe. But what if sitting in the chair that I'm sitting in now, that my arm just rests on the armrests, and there's a charger underneath it?
Yep.
Charges the whole thing.
That could charge that way. So it's going to have a brain in it, like a CPU.
Yeah.
And that then will speak to secondary devices like earbuds or glasses, so that you could read or you could listen. So if you want directions, there's no more phone, right? So you get in your car and it's speaking directions to you or showing you the directions on the back of your glasses. Our brains are like David Letterman in 1998 right now. We can't quite imagine what this is going to look like, but it's coming. I think part of this podcast is to say it's coming. So how do we think through it? Let's talk just for a second about Bill Gates.
Okay.
All kinds of things. Like this news is surrounding him. I don't trust this guy at all. Right? Do you trust, like, inherently?
I don't trust
Or
really.
is this conspiracy stuff that I'm messing with?
Him particularly, yes. I don't. Sorry, the answer is no, I don't trust him. But it's kind of that whole genre. I don't know if that's the right word, but the whole class of billionaires that have contributed greatly to our way of life now. I mean,
in some great ways.
Some great ways.
Of course.
But then I think that there's sometimes that when you have so much money that and get into just a different world, that you don't think like normal people do anymore. And I think that they're...
You get out of touch.
Way out of touch.
Yeah.
Way out of touch with any normal living human being.
Yeah. It's an example of that is like all the social media creators that don't have social media until their kids don't have it, don't get social media. And they're literally the ones that created it. And you see the same thing with guys like Bill Gates that'll create monsters
And never use it.
and they know they don't use it.
Yeah, is he going to do one of these phones?
I want to know. I almost want to say, I think that's when I texted Tyler and Parker when Tyler texted this article. I said, you first, Billy.
Yeah.
Stick out your arm.
That's
You
right.
get it first.
Yeah.
He won't. I don't think he will. I'd be very interested. I could be wrong, but I'd be interested. So immediately we think of like the Epstein connection with this guy.
Mm.
You know, so many controversies with him. You remember that TED Talk in 2010? You remember this?
Is it when he's talking about the vaccines and such?
He was talking about what sounded to me like population control.
Yes, I do. Oh, I know
Okay,
exactly. Yeah,
so
that was a TED Talk. Okay.
there was a TED Talk.
Okay.
It was called Innovating to Zero, where he outlined ways to reduce CO2 emissions. He's all about climate change and
Saving the world.
saving the world. He's all about vaccines, which is scary stuff.
Best way to save the world is to get rid of the people in it, right?
So that's what it started to sound like. Look, he said, this is his quote: "If we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower population growth by perhaps 10 or 15%. Close quote. Just absorb that for
Say
1
it
second.
again.
If we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower population growth by perhaps 10 or 15%.
That's so counterproductive.
Mm-hmm.
You know how else we could lower population growth is to not do anything for them. Like what?
Yeah. So
Don't get anybody any health care.
So the people that have, the way he defended that was he was saying, look, you guys are taking this out of context. I'm not talking about population control. I'm not talking about poisoning people, which is, immediately what we hear. But the way he defended it, he said, when child survival improves, right? When children live longer, because there was so much child death,
Okay.
in third world countries.
Okay.
He's saying when families then if children live longer, if their lives improve, if their health improves, then families will choose to have fewer children, which then is a form of population control.
Is his argument that in these third world countries that they're having kids that only live a few years?
That's his argument.
So then they're having more children.
That's right.
Okay.
And so they're getting poor and more poor because they're having more children and a higher percentage is dying. So he's saying, like, if we could just keep the initial babies healthy, they would stop having more babies. And he's like, that's a great thing. And the critics are like, oh yeah, the guy's brilliant. I still struggle with why this is good though. Like why we should get better vaccines to save more children. Great, stop there.
Yeah.
But continue saying, because then that will make our population less by 10 or 15%. And then that's good.
That seems counterproductive to me. Am I missing something on that? Because I get that. So if it allows that person to live longer, it's going to actually grow it. Unless you're doing something.
Yeah, he explained that as health improves, this is his words, as health improves, families choose to have fewer children. But that's the thing, because this is also connected to this, what do you call it? The health services. When you talk about women's health.
CDC and like that's Center for Disease Control. But
like, when he's talking about this, he's talking about abortion.
Yeah. Yeah. When it comes to reproductive health.
Health. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah.
They disguise that. Yeah.
Yeah. He's talking about if we could have better vaccines and better reproductive health, quote, quote, in Africa, for instance, is where he works a lot. Then there would be less starving children because there would be less children. I guess that's one way to stop, starving children, to help fix the pandemic of starving children. You just have less of them. That's one way, Bill. Okay, so this is the same guy now saying, and I want you to implant this tattoo that knows everything about your biometrics, and that's gonna help the world. So while I hear your argument on adopting early tech for convenience sake and connecting all, and the first argument of we head down a road away from the rotary phone, where if you don't start adopting new things, you can't function in society anymore.
Can I pause you for a second?
Yeah.
Because while you were doing that, I looked up and I got 3 articles on this that are current. 2 came out today. The third one came out 3 days ago. U.S. population decline declines looms by, U.S. population decline looms by 2025. Economic impacts and solutions.
Yeah.
There's a decline.
Yes.
Greece suspends 5% of schools as birth rate drops.
Yes.
The Guardian, really transitional moment. What should we do about declining fertility rates?
Yeah.
Population growth isn't the issue.
No.
Population decline is the problem right now.
Yeah.
I didn't see it in this, but I heard it the other day, was that it was one country, you would know, it was, forgive me for not knowing right off the top of my head, but it was like Italy, or if something's not done by this date, and it's like, 10 years or 15 years, this country will no longer exist.
No, that's absolutely right. And there are, I think Japan is leading that charge right now.
Wow.
Like Japan is the first country to now, their birth rate has dropped below their death rate. So the death rate's higher than the birth rate. And that is, like the US is like right at the same, we're about the same right now.
Sure.
Babies are born and people die about exactly the same. This is a crazy statistic, because there's a lot of people that study these kind of things that say that's irrecoverable. You can't fix that.
You can't fix
once you hit neutrality,
yeah,
the death rate and the birth rate, you can't fix that.
You're only going to go down from there.
There's no way you could recover, because the babies are too young. It takes generations, and it's too late. And it's not just a physical thing; it's a mental thing. Wow. People don't want. That's what Japan is really struggling with.
Yeah.
It's not a physical thing. It's not like we just need to get these women to start having more babies. They don't want to.
Yeah.
They don't want to have babies. They don't want to get married.
Yeah.
They want to have a career. The men don't want to get married.
Yeah.
They enjoy the bachelor life. They don't
or
want
if they do
a
get
girlfriend.
married, they don't want a family.
They don't want
to be
a family.
able to be free.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a mental hurdle that it's almost impossible to get over. Bill Gates' argument with all of what you're saying, Greece, America, what are the other countries you named?
I just said Greece, and the other one was it just talked about declining fertility rates.
Okay.
It didn't give a.
So we're talking about Greece, we're talking about U.S., we're talking about
Japan.
France, Japan. Yeah. We're talking about England, Germany. These are all the problem countries.
Yeah.
But those are all the countries that have good health care.
Good, in quotes.
So what Bill Gates is arguing is, he's saying, look, the countries with good health care, they don't make as many babies because they don't have to, because the babies they have are fine. He's saying the problem is Africa and India, where they don't have good health care, so they have a lot of babies. But there's a certain amount of racism by saying that, class racism.
Sure, yeah.
By saying we've got to stop this India, Africa rise. So we need to get them better health care, like Germany has, like Greece has, like the US has, because those people have good health care and they don't want to make babies. That's what we want. He's not saying it exactly like I'm saying it, but that's what he's implying.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
This is fascinating stuff. And so once again, here's the same guy now wrapped around this new tech.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I backed up on that, but that gave some tie to the person who's behind this. Yeah.
Here's a guy too he's an older man. I mean, he's what, late 50s, early 60s, maybe? Am I just guessing?
Maybe a little older than that.
Maybe a little older than that. And my point to saying that is, he's got a few more decades on this earth.
Yep.
That's it. So he won't live to see all this stuff played out. He won't. So these are all just ideas. But if he has a certain worldview, and the worldview is class control, population control, elimination of a lower class, if that's his worldview, then he's starting irreversible effects.
He's 69, by the way.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So he doesn't, 69, we might hear that he has a heart attack in 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do we think through this with the Bible? Let me say first and foremost, getting a tech like this, getting an electronic tattoo, does not withhold you from heaven, from salvation. You're saved by grace through faith. This is not your own doing. It is the gift of God, not a result of work, so that no man may boast. There is nothing you could do to lose that. So a person that is saved by grace through faith can't get a thing or a tattoo or a something that eliminates them. It is, as we talked about in the episode of Mark of the Beast, it's about worship.
Yes.
It's about idolatry.
Yeah.
So it would be connected, not just getting a tattoo. It would be connected with worshiping whatever is not God.
Yeah.
The first commandment, you shall have no other gods beside me.
Yeah.
And the second commandment, you shall have no carved images. Yeah. So
no statues, which is the beast would be a statue.
Yeah. So something you said before we started recording was that it's not so much the idea of a tattoo that's the problem. Mm-hmm. The mark of the beast, if thought of, as we talked about a little bit with like Revelation 8 and last couple of weeks ago, is the mark of the beast is made possible with a tech like this. The tech like this doesn't have to be the mark of the beast.
Right.
But the mark of the beast could be a result of a tech like this.
Correct.
So if you were ever in a situation where you couldn't buy or sell, it would be a choice that the human makes, not to get the tattoo, but to worship the image.
Yep.
If you don't worship this, we don't activate your currency.
Correct.
Through your tattoo.
Correct.
See, that's a big difference.
Or think of it as an app on your phone right now.
Yeah.
You worship this abomination.
Yeah.
And you download this new app.
Yes.
On your skin tattoo.
Yeah.
And what John was seeing was people buying and selling with this mark on their forehead or on their hand. And that's what this is speculation at this point, but could it lead to it? Yes, absolutely.
It could lead to it.
Yeah.
And so kind of like we said a couple weeks ago, you can't accidentally get the mark of the beast.
Right.
And that's not what this podcast is about, but it has those implications. You can't accidentally get it, but you could get it and then make a conscious decision to worship something that's not the Lord.
Right.
And so you would have to do that. Getting a tattoo doesn't eliminate you from heaven.
Yeah.
Worshiping another God does. Right. So you could get it and then go, I messed up. I'm not going to activate this. I'm not going to do this anymore.
I'll use that phone and tattooed on my skin, but I'm sure not going to bow to this idol.
Yeah, and I won't be able to buy or sell.
Yeah,
and I'm going to live with. I'm going to die of starvation.
Your software has been disconnected.
Yeah, Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
your subscription has ended.
Yeah, your subscription has ended. Yeah, you can no longer buy or sell using your whatever they're calling this. Tattoo. Yeah. I think a lot of it too is the warning, I think, in all of this is not to be consumed. Like we talk about in the other episodes too, not being consumed with the who the Antichrist is, but more so who Jesus is and what he did for you. I think in this whole thing too is not to be so wrapped up, your life to be wrapped up so much in this tech and things that are man-made. And the Bible does warn about that. Of putting your life. In fact, in Isaiah, I'll turn there real quick. But in Isaiah, he talks about don't go look to Egypt and the horses and the chariots to save you. Look to God.
You're talking about Isaiah 31.
Isaiah 31. I can't talk and fight at the same time.
I'll help you. I can't multitask either.
Yeah.
That's
first for Jeremiah.
The top of Isaiah 31.
Yeah.
Read that.
30. I'm almost there. 31, right at the very beginning. What sorrow awaits those who look to Egypt for help, trusting their horses, chariots, and charioteers, and depending on the strength of human armies instead of looking to the Lord, the Holy One of Israel. I think, if anything, the warning here is not to let your life be consumed by, and I'm pointing finger at myself, is don't let yourself be consumed by staying up with technology.
Yeah.
and forget about the Lord and think that that's the answer to all of your issues and all your problems and all, it's going to save me.
What
No,
are you
the tech will
trusting
not
in?
save you. Yes.
Where
absolutely.
are you drawing your strength from?
Yeah.
Are you making the plans, or are you trusting the Lord?
Right.
Because he directs the steps. Romans 12:2, maybe the most classic verse we've gone to in this podcast for years. Romans 12:2, I appeal to you, therefore, brothers, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship. Verse 2, here we go. Why, Paul? Why should I present my body as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is my spiritual worship? Why? Do not be conformed to this world, he says.
Yeah.
But be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. Yeah. So there's in our faith, we don't rely on emotions or experiences or feelings. We use our minds, and we discern and we test. And our discernment is trained, Paul says, by constant practice to distinguish good from evil. And he also says to Timothy that training comes from Scripture, from understanding who God is through Scripture. Because he said all Scripture is breathed out by God and profitable for teaching, for reproof, for correction, and for training in righteousness, that the man of God may be complete, equipped for every good work. So train yourself to distinguish good from evil. And right here in Romans 12:2, test to discern what is the will of God.
Yeah.
How? By not conforming with the world, but being transformed by the renewal of your mind. That is unlike any other religion.
Yeah.
Don't conform to the world. Be transformed by renewing your mind. How? By testing it according to the Scripture, distinguishing good from evil.
Mm-hmm.
Who is God, and who has God who has God told us that he is, as he's revealed himself in his word, and test everything else against that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like one test when someone says, like, I'm trying to decide to watch this TV show or not. I'm trying to decide to listen to this music or not.
Mm-hmm.
It's so easy if you ask one question. By doing this, does it get me closer to God or further from God?
Yeah.
And if the answer is neutral, then it's further.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're trying, like, I don't know if I should watch this movie. Well, it doesn't have to be a Christian movie to watch The Lord of the Rings, for example, and go, I see a great enemy, and I see a great good, and I see the struggle of good triumphing over evil. And that makes me think of the Lord and spiritual warfare and our struggle. Like, okay, then good. Then Lord of the Rings would actually help you get closer to God. That's a small example of like a secular movie.
Yeah.
And so you could do that with everything. So you could say, would this electronic tattoo, get me closer to God or further from him?
Well,
I don't know the answer to that right now.
But and if you just simply took but even before we hit record on this, is what would I use this for? Well, how could this benefit helping spread the gospel? That's your answer from the beginning. That right there
I guarantee you my answer to a smartphone is yes.
Yeah.
It gets me closer to God.
Right.
I guarantee you that. For many reasons. Now, if I got rid of my smartphone, would that get me further from God? No. And that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, but by having it as a tool, I could right now text a brother and say, how you doing? Your mother passed away 2 months ago. How are you doing today, brother? I could text, let's go to lunch. I could do that in a lot faster than a letter or a courier. And
there's no difference in just the parameters of it, a difference in that and a hammer. You decide how you want to use it, because that hammer can destroy the wall behind you, or it can put up the boards that build that wall. It's the person using it. And if you get this tattoo because it helps you do what you even say, what if this helps you translate going on a mission trip, helps you translate much quicker and connect with someone much easier and be able to share the gospel in their language that they can understand. That's the answer right there.
Yeah. Well, you know what you're saying with that argument is just a couple of pages back for me. And I would say it would be the famous Romans 8:28. We know that for those who love God, all things work together for good. All things.
All things. Yep.
Work together for good. And that can include a electronic tattoo for those who are called according to his purpose, for those for whom he foreknew, he also predestined to be conformed to the image of his Son in order that we might be the firstborn among many brothers. And those whom he predestined, he also called. And those we called, he also justified. And those who he justified, he also glorified. I think about 1 Thessalonians. Toward the end of the chapter, he says, he's talking about abstain from every form of evil. And he says, test everything, hold fast what is good. Test everything. So like that could be a theme of this whole podcast. Should I get it? I don't test it. I don't know, but how do I test it? By testing it against who God says he is. Who does he say he is? Well, you have to know who he is according to the way the scriptures revealed him. How do you know that? Because all scriptures breathed out by God and profitable for teaching, reproof, correction, for training in righteousness. Well, how do I train myself? By not conforming to the world, but being transformed by the renewal of my mind, so that by testing, I can distinguish what is good and acceptable and perfect, right? So these scripture attest to itself as we walk through it, how to handle even an electronic tattoo or anything. Place anything in there. What do I do with this? Test everything and hold fast what is good. How do I know what is good? By distinguishing good from evil. How do I do that? By training. How do I do that? By reading the scripture. What does that do? Because it gives light to who God is. And once I see him for who he's revealed himself to be, I could trust him. And I could know what is good and acceptable and perfect by not conforming to this world. You see, there's like this scriptural loop we can go through and just answers every question back to back to back, including electronic tattoos.
Yeah. And something, I don't know why you were saying, that also struck me from something I read this week too, and it was the parable of the shrewd manager. Just in that, and it's in Luke 16, but a particular verse, and here it says, here's the lesson: use your worldly resources to benefit others. If what you have, use it to benefit those that God is calling you to minister to.
Yeah.
To benefit others.
I would say, on top of all these things, there would be one strict warning for this. And it's not, be careful, it's not the mark of the beast. I think we've covered that you can't accidentally get
That's
it.
right.
You will be actively worshiping. But what we should warn against is like we would warn against with anything else. Do not idolize this.
Very important.
Don't idolize tech.
Yeah.
Don't let it become an idol. Yeah. Don't let it become an addiction. Paul says that anything is lawful for me.
But everything is.
But we have to understand that
everything is good.
Not everything is profitable. Not everything is good. It might be lawful. Like, would it be lawful to get this electronic? Yeah, sure. But that's not always profitable for me. So how does Paul remedy that? Well, he says, I will not be addicted to anything.
Yeah.
So if it becomes an addiction, it's becoming an idol.
And so that definitely applies to tech.
And that applies to tech.
Sure.
So if this thing becomes something that we would idolize, then we're breaking the first commandment and we're putting another God before him. Yeah. And then at that point, we're in serious trouble, far more serious trouble than getting a mark of the beast.
Yep.
Because now we've put another God before him, and we will be judged for that. And how to stop that? How to remedy that? You need a new heart.
Yeah.
How do you get a new heart? Trusting, believing in the resurrection of Jesus, that he died, went to the cross, lived the perfect life that we couldn't, and upon his resurrection said, "Look to me, turn from yourself, turn from your idols, turn from your technology that you've trusted and look to me and trust in me, and you'll be saved and forgiven," which is it's something that is the greatest need of all humanity, to be forgiven of our sins that have separated us from a holy God.
Yeah.
So,
amen.
I think, would you get it? Did you get this thing?
Like I said, after
Probably. The answer's probably.
I would be in probably the first 20%, 25%. It'd be some testing before me, but I'll tell you right now that on the phone sitting down there, I've had the new iOS 26 first beta all the way through where we are. Well, we're past it. It's out for everybody now. It is the operating system, the newest operating system. But when it was in beta form, yeah, I love playing with that stuff and figuring it out.
So let's answer the original question. Is Bill Gates' new electronic tattoo demonic?
Oh, is it demonic? Anything could be. It depends on what it's used for. Again, the hammer. What's the hammer being used for?
Is the hammer demonic?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the hands of the right person.
That's right.
Swinging it at the right thing. Yes.
Sure.
Demonic.
So yes, it could be. Is it in and of itself? No. I don't think.
Yeah. I agree. All right. Love you guys. See you next episode. Yee.
Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this episode of the Granger Smith Podcast. I appreciate you being here. If you're listening right now, go ahead and rate today's podcast. It helps more folks find the show. And if you're tuning in on the iHeartRadio app, you could actually set this podcast as one of your presets, which is cool. That way, I'm just one tap away. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you don't miss any new episodes. And if you got a question you want answered right here on the show, just email me, podcast@grangersmith.com. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks again for being here. We'll see you next time. Yee.